Rigumuni. He got a lot of powers. So, being blessed by them, he became extremely powerful. And in order to conquer all the worlds, mainly Indraloka, he went to Indraloka and he conquered Indraloka. And we saw how the demigods had to flee in fear of their lives because the demigods guru, that is Brihaspati, told them that uh, there is no way you can defeat Bali Maharaj right now because he has been blessed by his superiors, his ancestors. So there is no way you can defeat him. So better that you just disguise yourselves and flee from here. And that's what the demigods did. They fled from there, and as a result of this, Aditi, who is the mother of the demigods, became very perturbed, very disturbed that her children are now homeless, and they are just wandering here and there without any shelter. So then, when her husband visits her, her husband was Kashyap Muni. When he visited her, she expressed this to him, and he delineated the whole process of Payovrata that we read, the detailed process of Payovrata, in order to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we saw last time how uh, Aditi, with lot of dedication, without any laziness, she followed the instructions of her husband, and she actually pleased the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. And then Vishnu appears to her and says that, yes, I'll come. I will fulfill all your desires. Your main desire is to save your sons from from being driven away from their heavenly kingdom. So don't worry, I will be born as your son and fulfill all your wishes, is what Vishnu says. And he disappears from there. And then soon Aditi gives birth to this sweet little boy called Vāmanadeva. So he's a dwarf Brahmana, and he his features are described in the previous chapter. Very beautiful child, and a lot of affection from his parents he receives, and then soon he sets out to fulfill the mission of his life. And we'll see how that happens here. This chapter is very interesting. There is a lot of back and forth that goes on between Bali Maharaj and Vamandev, and we'll see how Shukracharya, that who is the spiritual master of Bali Maharaj, he actually does something that is not really spiritually healthy, and we'll see that as well. So let me share my screen. So we have 43 verses in this chapter. So we'll maybe have 4 devotees read 10 verses each. Yeah, the devotee who reads in the end can complete the last 13 verses. So let's begin. Yes, Gaur Kumar Prabhu, you can start.
Yeah, text 1. The chapter is titled Lord Vāmanadeva Begs Charity from Bali Maharaj. Sukadeva Goswami continued, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vāmanadeva, heard Bali Maharaj speaking in this pleasing way, he was very satisfied, for Bali Maharaj had spoken in terms of religious principles. Thus the Lord began to praise him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O King, you are indeed exalted because your present advisors are the Brahmanas who are descendants of Brigu, and because your instructor for your future life is your grandfather, the peaceful and venerable Prahlad Maharaj. Your statements are very true and they completely agree with religious etiquette. They are in keeping with the behavior of your family and they enhance your reputation. I know that even until now, no one taking birth in your family has been poor-minded or miserly. No one has refused to give charity to Brahmanas, nor after promising to give charity has anyone failed to fulfill his promise. O Bali Maharaj, never in your dynasty has the low-minded king been born upon whom, being requested, has refused charity to Brahmanas in holy places or a fight to Kshatriyas on a battlefield. And your dynasty is even more glorious due to the presence of Prahlad Maharaj, who is like the beautiful moon in the sky. It was in your dynasty that Hiranyaksha was born. Carrying only his own club, he wandered the globe alone, without assistance, to conquer all directions, and no hero he met could rival him. When delivering the earth from the Garbhodaka sea, Lord Vishnu, in his incarnation as a boar, killed Hiranyaksha, who had appeared before him. The fight was severe, and the Lord killed Hiranyaksha with great difficulty. Later, as the Lord thought about the uncommon prowess of Hiranyaksha, he felt himself victorious indeed. When Hiranyakashipu heard the news of his brothers being killed, with great anger, he went to the residence of Vishnu, the killer of his brother, wanting to kill Lord Vishnu. Seeing Hiranyakashipu come forward bearing a trident in his hand, like personified death, Lord Vishnu, the best of all mystics and the knower of the progress of time, thought as follows: wheresoever I go, Hiranyakashipu will follow me, as death follows all living entities. Therefore, it is better for me to enter the core of his heart, for then, because of his power to see only externally, he will not see me. Lord Vāmanadeva continued, O king of the demons, after Lord Vishnu made this decision, he entered the body of his enemy Hiranyakashipu, who was running after him with great force. In a subtle body inconceivable to Hiranyakashipu, Lord Vishnu, who was in great anxiety, entered Hiranyakashipu's nostril along with his breath.
Thank you, Prabhu. Vishal Prabhu, go ahead.
Upon seeing that the residence of Lord Vishnu was vacant, Hiranyakashipu began searching for Lord Vishnu everywhere. Angry at not seeing him, Hiranyakashipu screamed loudly and searched the entire universe, including the surface of the earth, the higher planetary systems, all directions, and all the caves and oceans. But Hiranyakashipu, the greatest hero, did not see Vishnu anywhere. Unable to see him, Hiranyakashipu said, I have searched the entire universe, but I could not find Vishnu, who has killed my brother. Therefore, he must certainly have gone to the place from which no one returns. In other words, he must now be dead. Hiranyakashipu's anger against Lord Vishnu persisted until his death. Other people in the bodily concept of life maintain anger only because of false ego and the great influence of ignorance. Your father Virochana, the son of Mahārāja Prahlad, was very affectionate toward Brahmanas. Although he knew very well that it was the demigods who had come to him in the dress of Brahmanas, at their request, he delivered to them the duration of his life. You also have observed the principles followed by great personalities who are householder Brahmanas, by your forefathers, and by great heroes who are extremely famous for their exalted activities. O King of the Daityas, from your majesty, who come from such a noble family and who are able to give charity munificently, I ask only 3 paces of land to the measure of my steps. O King, controller of the entire universe, although you are very munificent and are able to give me as much land as I want, I do not want anything from you that is unnecessary. If a learned Brahmana takes charity from others only according to his needs, he does not become entangled in sinful activities. Bali Maharaj said, O son of a Brahmana, your instructions are as good as those of learned and elderly persons. Nonetheless, you are a boy and your intelligence is insufficient. Thus, you are not prudent in regard to your self interest. I am able to give you an entire island because I am the proprietor of the 3 divisions of the universe. You have come to take something from me and have pleased me by your sweet words. but you're asking only 3 paces of land. Therefore, you're not very intelligent. O small boy, one who approaches me to beg something should not have to ask anything more anywhere. Therefore, if you wish, you may ask from me as much land as will suffice to maintain you according to your needs.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else wants to go, or I can continue? Okay, Megha Mataji, please go ahead. Till 30, text 30.
The personality of Godhead said, "O my dear king, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the 3 worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. If I were not satisfied with 3 paces of land, then surely I would not be satisfied even with possessing one of the 7 islands consisting of 9 varshas. Even if I possessed one island, I would hope to get others. We have heard that all the powerful kings like Mahārāja Prithu and Mahārāja Gaya achieved proprietorship over the 7 dvipas. They could not achieve satisfaction or find the end of their ambitions. One should be satisfied with whatever he achieves by his previous destiny, for discontent can never bring happiness. A person who is not self-controlled will not be happy even with possessing the 3 worlds. Material existence causes discontent in regard to fulfilling one's lusty desires and achieving more and more money. This is the cause for continuation of material life, which is full of repeated birth and death. But one who is satisfied by that which is obtained by destiny is fit for liberation from this material existence. A Brahmana who is satisfied with whatever is providentially obtained is increasingly enlightened with spiritual power. But the spiritual potency of a dissatisfied Brahmana decreases, as fire diminishes in potency when water is sprinkled upon it. Therefore, O king, from you, the best of those who give charity, I ask only 3 paces of land. By such a gift I shall be very pleased, for the way of happiness is to be fully satisfied, to receive that is absolutely needed. Shukadeva Goswami continued, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead had thus spoken to Bali Maharaj, Bali smiled and told him, "All right, take whatever you like." To confirm his promise to give Vāmanadeva the desired land, he then took up his water pot. Understanding Lord Vishnu's purpose, Shukracharya, the best of learned, immediately spoke as follows to his disciple, who was about to offer everything to Lord Vāmanadeva. Shukracharya said, "O son of Virochana, this brahmachari in the form of a dwarf is directly the imperishable Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Accepting Kashyapa Muni as his father and Aditi as his mother, he has now appeared in order to fulfill the interest of the demigods."
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else?
Prabhu, can I go back to one verse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one?
It was, I think, 27 or 28.
Yes. This one?
Oh no, a previous one, 26. I just want to read it once more.
Yes,
A Brahmana who is satisfied with whatever is providentially obtained is increasingly enlightened with spiritual power. But the spiritual potency of a dissatisfied Brahmana decreases as fire diminishes in potency when water is sprinkled upon it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss that verse during our discussion, Mataji, if you have any question about it. Okay, I'll continue the last 13 verses. You do not know what a dangerous position you have accepted by promising to give him land. I do not think that this promise is good for you. It will bring great harm to the demons. This person falsely appearing as a brahmachari is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who has come in this form to take away all your land, wealth, beauty, power, fame, and education. After taking everything from you, he will deliver it to Indra, your enemy. You have promised to give him 3 steps of land in charity, but when you give it, he will occupy the 3 worlds. You are a rascal. You do not know what a great mistake you have made. After giving everything to Lord Vishnu, you will have no means of livelihood. how then shall you live? Vāmanadeva will first occupy the three worlds with one step. Then he will take his second step and occupy everything in outer space. And then he will expand this universal body to occupy everything. Where will you offer him the third step? You will certainly be unable to fulfill your promise. And I think that because of this inability, your eternal residence will be in hell. Learned scholars do not praise that charity which endangers one's own livelihood. Charity, sacrifice, austerity, and fruitive activities are possible for one who is competent to earn his livelihood properly. They are not possible for one who cannot maintain himself. Therefore, one who is in full knowledge should divide his accumulated wealth in 5 parts: for religion, for reputation, for opulence, for sense gratification, and for the maintenance of his family members. Such a person is happy in this world and in the next. One might argue that since you have already promised, how can you refuse? O best of the demons, just take from me the evidence of the Bhavricha Shruti, which says that a promise is truthful preceded by the word Om and untruthful if not. The Vedas enjoin that the factual result of the tree of the body is the good fruits and flowers derived from it. But if the bodily tree does not exist, there is no possibility of factual fruits and flowers. Even if the body is based on untruth, there cannot be factual fruits and flowers without the help of the bodily tree. When a tree is uprooted, it immediately falls down and begins to dry up. Similarly, if one doesn't take care of the body, which is supposed to be untruth, in other words, if the untruth is uprooted, the body undoubtedly becomes dry. The utterance of the word Om signifies separation from one's monetary assets. In other words, by uttering this word, one becomes free from attachment to money because his money is taken away from him. To be without money is not very satisfactory, for in that position one cannot fulfill one's desires. In other words, by using the word Om, one becomes poverty-stricken. Especially when one gives charity to a poor man or beggar, one remains unfulfilled in self-realization and in sense gratification. Therefore, the safe course is to say no. Although it is a falsehood, it protects one completely. It draws the compassion of others toward oneself, and it gives one full facility to collect money from others for oneself. Nonetheless, if one always pleads that he has nothing, he is condemned, for he is a dead body while living, or while still breathing, he should be killed. In flattering a woman to bring her under control, in joking, in a marriage ceremony, in earning one's livelihood, when one's life is in danger, in protecting cows and Brahminical culture, or in protecting a person from an enemy's hand, falsity is never condemned. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dina Taranam. So thank you, dear devotees, reading this chapter, the translations in this chapter. So this, as far as breakdown goes, this chapter is, we can say that it's broken down into multiple sections. So the previous chapter ended with Vāmanadeva asking for 3 pieces of land, I believe. And then sorry, one sec. No, the previous chapter completed with Bali Maharaj welcoming Vāmanadeva and speaking to him with pleasing words and telling him that, okay, you ask me whatever you want in charity. And then here we see how Vāmanadeva, in the initial section, he's glorifying Bali Maharaj. He's glorifying Bali Maharaj's grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, and he's also glorifying Bali Maharaj's great grand uncle, that is Hiranyaksha, and great grandfather Hiranyakashipu. Vāmanadeva is telling, is mentioning how Hiranyaksha gave a tough fight to who is that avatar? Boar incarnation. How can I forget? Keshavadharita Sukara Rupa. I forget the Varahadev. Krishna. Yes. So Varahadev. Vāmanadeva says how Hiranyaksha gave a tough fight to Varahadev. And then he also, glorifies Hiranyakashipu. And then he actually says something interesting here. He says that this Hiranyakashipu will follow me everywhere. So it's, as death follows all living entities, therefore it's just good for me to just enter the core of his heart. So because of his power to see only externally, he'll not see me. So very interesting things Lord Vāmanadeva says here. And then finally he describes more about Hiranyakashipu's search to kill Lord Vishnu, who actually appeared as the boar, the transcendental boar, to kill his brother Hiranyaksha. And then we see how Virochana is also glorified here by Vāmanadeva. And then finally, he asks for 3 pieces of land, right? He says, I do not want from you anything that is unnecessary, right? And then he gives a lot of philosophy. And then then Bali Maharaj actually, he says, you're very good. This is the next section where Bali Maharaj is responding to Vāmanadeva. He says, your words are very nice and they seem very enlightening and, like, as if a learned and elderly person is speaking, but your intelligence is insufficient. So basically, Bali Maharaj is saying here that I am capable of giving you everything you want, but still you're asking only 3 pieces of land. So it looks like you're not so concerned about your own self-interest, is what Bali Maharaj says. And then, then Vāmanadeva again replies to Bali Maharaj with this section which is really nice. Yeah, this one. Where did that go? Yeah, the personality of Godhead said, "Oh my dear king, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the 3 worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled." So this section actually is very nice in the sense that it essentially says how that if our desires if we keep on indulging in our desires without any control, without any regulation, then however much we try to indulge in them, we will never be satisfied, is what Vāmanadeva is essentially saying. And then he's saying many beautiful verses here, and he's actually thrashing the arguments of Bali Maharaj. And then after that, the last section is where Shukracharya, he sees that, this child, he understands through his powers that this child is not an ordinary child. He's actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of this brahmachari. And he is warning and he's using a lot of philosophy to convince Bali Maharaj and to warn him that, look, you don't give him what he's asking for. Because if you give him, I'm pretty sure that this brahmachari, who is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, he will take away everything from you. So that this way, Shukracharya is trying to dissuade Bali Maharaj from giving this charity to Lord Vāmanadeva. So this is kind of a breakdown of the chapter. Now going to so there are so many nice themes in this verse. Some were really scary. I was like, okay, this is really scary. We'll come to that section. But initially, the one purport that caught my attention is this one. So here Prabhupada is quoting Kiba Vipra Kibanyasi Shudra Kene Noy, Jai Krishna Tattvaveta Sei Guru Hoy. So here Prabhupada is talking about the renunciation. So I'll just read out the purport. Prahlad Maharaj is a vivid example of a pure devotee. Someone might argue that since Prahlad Maharaj, even though very old, was attached to his family and specifically to his grandson Bali Maharaj, how could he be an ideal example? Therefore, this verse uses the word prashantaha. A devotee is always sober. He is never disturbed by any conditions. Even if a devotee remains in grihastha life and does not renounce material possessions, he should still be understood to be prashanta, sober, because of his pure devotion to the Lord. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has said, whether one is a brahmana, a sannyasi, or a shudra, regardless of what he is, he can become a spiritual master if he knows the science of Krishna. So anyone completely aware of the science of Krishna, regardless of his status in life, is a guru. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj is a guru in all circumstances. So this is really nice, because I've always had this question as to, as grihasthas, what do we do? Do we aim to give up family life at some point and take to sannyas or take to vanaprastha or something like that? In fact, Radhanath Maharaj was asked this question, Maharaj, what should we do? Should we as grihasthas aim to become vanaprasthas at some point? Should we aim to become sannyasis at some point? How should we look at this? Because the Shastras are full of quotations where it is said that one should actually, not just enjoy a grihastha life till the end of one's life. One should actually leave and dedicate oneself completely to the pursuit of spiritual life. So one devotee asked this question to Maharaj, and Maharaj said that yes, that instruction that one should become a sannyasi, one should become a vanaprastha is valid in that time, place, and circumstance. It is also valid now in principle, but so we have to see the principle behind that and the spirit behind that kind of renunciation. In the olden days, it was possible for people to take to that kind of an external renunciation. But because in Kali Yuga it's not possible, one should try to develop that spirit of vanaprastha at some point. One does not have to necessarily give up externally his or her family and things like that, but one should try to develop that spirit of not being attached. And that is the point of Yukta Vairagya that will come in one of the future sections. So yeah, I'll open it up now. Does anybody have any thoughts on this particular thing? Whether one should really take sannyas, vanaprastha, or whether it's okay to be a grihastha. And if it's okay to be a grihastha, then so essentially the question is, where should one draw the line? Because one can keep, even at the, even at a very, very old age, there are certain responsibilities and everything, right? Which is definitely okay, which is definitely when it's needed, some things have to be done, right? But in many cases, a person has achieved all one's financial goals, settling down family members at a particular age. But still we see in India and even everywhere that people are still attached. They don't want to let go. So the question is, whether do we have to let go is the first question. And if we have to let go, how do we let go is the second question. And the third is, where do we draw the line? So if anybody has any thoughts on this, please share.
Hello?
Yes, Megha Mataji.
Sorry, so I don't think I'm eligible to answer really, but rather I have a question. So it's written that anyone aware of the signs of Krishna, regardless of his status in life, is a guru.
Hmm.
Signs of Krishna, as in like aware of Krishna, dedicated to Krishna, or like in what sense?
So signs of Krishna, the way I have understood over the years after hearing and reading, is that one who is devoted to Krishna, one who knows the signs of Krishna, meaning who is devoted to Krishna, as you rightly mentioned, and like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvatah. So Krishna is saying the one who understands my janma, my birth, karma, my activities, those who understand my divyam, divine birth and activities in truth, tatvatah. That person is actually taktva deham punarjanma naiti. So that person doesn't, once he gives up his body, his or her body, they don't come back. And where do they go? Ma meti so Arjuna, they come to me, Krishna says. So I guess knowing the science of Krishna is basically that, to understand Krishna in truth. And the thing is, when we understand Krishna actually in truth, we understand that he is the all attractive supreme personality of Godhead and the object of our love, the supreme object of our love. So when we truly understand the science of Krishna, when one truly knows the science of Krishna, one actually becomes devoted to Krishna. So that is what I think means by knowing the science of Krishna. It's not a theoretical understanding about Krishna. It's not like okay, I know that Krishna existed, I know that it's not just that theoretical understanding. It goes much deeper to the heart, where one does not only understand that Krishna is actually there, Krishna actually exists, but also loves Krishna with his or her full consciousness. So yeah.
Thank you. And also, like, this also reminds me of Visheshika Prabhu. So I think he's still in Grihastha ashram, right?
Yes, exactly.
And he's like guiding so many devotees.
Correct. Yes, he's a guru. He's a guru, and he's the personification in one sense of this verse. Kiba vipra kribanyasi shudra kene noy. Jai Krishna tattva veta se. Even if you take, for example, all the Western disciples of Prabhupada who are gurus today, right? In one sense, they are born. They are not born in a Brahmana family or a Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra family. They are born in the Western world, and the Western world is, if you go strictly by the orthodox scriptures of India, then the Western world is Mlecha. People in the West are called Mlecha. So in that sense, these people who are born, devotees who are born in so-called Mlecha family, are big gurus today. And the reason is their devotion to the Lord. So that is, again, all these devotees are actually personifications of this particular verse. Yeah. So actually, you bring up a very nice point also. This reminds me of that point that because the greatness of a person is whether that person is devoted to Krishna or not. It is very important for us as devotees to not judge other devotees seeing their externalities. So that is a very great offense. We should not kind of see other devotees. Oh, this devotee is black. Oh, this devotee is white. Oh, this devotee is like this. Oh, that devotee, he works there. That is so inferior. If we start thinking like that, then that's a huge offense. That's a huge Vaishnava aparadh, and Krishna never tolerates Vaishnava aparadh. So that is also one thing. So we have to see how much love that devotee has for Krishna. That is what decides their greatness, and we should not judge them by their externalities. Anyway, back to this question, right? We as sadhakas, what do we do then? Is it important to renounce and how should we develop that spirit of renunciation? Okay.
Sorry. So, Prabhu, one more question.
Yes.
So, this renunciation also, as
Hmm.
mentioned in the verses, that one whose senses are not controlled, nothing can satisfy them.
Sorry?
Nothing can satisfy the senses if the senses are not in control, right? So,
Yeah.
is it like renunciation? So, like controlling one's senses in a way, isn't it a form of renunciation or
It is.
rather renunciation?
It is. Yeah. I mean, so, what is your question exactly?
So, my
Oh,
question,
yeah,
the
yeah.
question is like when controlling, so in my view, I see like controlling the senses also is a form of renunciation.
Yeah.
So, if that is renunciation, then it can be practiced in grihasthashram as well, no?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that is true. It can be practiced in the Grihasthashram. Yeah. Yeah, that is actually the answer to the question. That controlling the see, it's like controlling the senses is a very you can say that controlling the senses means just controlling the five senses, right? Like just control. Oh, I want to eat this. I control my senses, my sense of taste, and I control myself from eating that. Or for instance, I want to see something, but I know that that thing is not right, so I'll control myself from seeing that, right? So that is one level of controlling the senses. But another level of controlling the senses is that I will actually only have what I need, right? That is also a deeper level of control that is there. So yes, in Grihasthashram, definitely you can practice the control of senses, but even in that, um, we have to kind of expand into even controlling our other pursuits which are in a way self-centered, I guess. So yeah, but yeah, you're right that even in grihasthashram it can be done. And the beauty of bhakti is that it is one form of yoga that can be practiced within grihasthashram also. um, because in karma yoga also there is the ultimate aim of giving up. In jnana yoga though, you can't even start through jnana yoga without renouncing. And Ashtanga yoga is also another level up from Jnana yoga, where also there is a lot of renunciation required. But Bhakti yoga is the only yoga where you can actually experience the highest perfection even while remaining within Grihasthashram. So that is the beauty of Bhakti yoga. Yeah. Nitya Mataji, you have something to say.
Yes, that's a very nice discussion. I just wanted to add that if it was a controlling thing, then Prahlad Maharaj, it says he was very attached to his family, especially to the grandson, right? So what I was deducing from that is that if one can be attached as long as the signs of Krishna, what is the signs of Krishna is that not only that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but seeing Krishna in everybody, and also elevating one's consciousness to the to Krishna consciousness, like so that is what Prahlad Maharaj, I believe, was doing to his grandson Bali Maharaj, is to elevate his consciousness so that Bali Maharaj becomes Krishna consciousness. And you can see in the future chapters that how Bali Maharaj would exhibit that, how he overpowers his own guru, and becomes true to his grandfather actually. By even by knowing that who has come is the Lord himself, he accepts to have the third step to be put on his own head. So I think attachment is okay as long as that attachment leads us to Krishna. Even Ajamil was attached to his son, but that attachment was very bodily. So, and we don't see anywhere that Ajamil was a guru. But Prahlad Maharaj, I believe, he was attached because that attachment elevated them towards Krishna. I think that's what I was thinking.
Very nice, Mataji. Yeah, our attachment should take us to Krishna. Yes. Yes, Gaurakumar Prabhu, you have.
Yes, Prabhu. So a few things about renunciation. The first thing is our goal is not renunciation. We must be Krishna-centered, but not renunciation-centered. So if we are Krishna-centered, if our center is Krishna, then renunciation becomes a side effect. Because you're so much focused on Krishna, that renunciation becomes a side effect. That is the main thing. Because if you're completely thinking that, oh, I should be renounced, I should be renounced, I should be renounced, you get so caught up in that you forget Krishna. So that is not the goal. And the second thing is the renunciation of a true sage, of a true saint, is internal. It need not be external, like as Megha Mataji nicely pointed out. So externally, you may be married, you may have kids, but internally, you can be very, very detached. You can be very renounced. So that is, so Krishna sees that actually. Krishna sees that. So that is the second point I wanted to make. And the third point I want to make is, so there are 4 categories of people. So I'm just going to mention all of them. And then I'm going to talk about attachment and detachment in terms of Krishna and Maya. Okay, so just try to imagine this in a table. So there is materialists, there is Sahajyas, there is Mayavadis or impersonalists, and there are Bhaktas. So there are 4 types of people. I'll repeat again: materialists, Sahajyas, impersonalists, and Bhaktas. Now, let's see how these 4 people are attached or detached when it comes to Krishna and Maya. Okay, first category, materialists. Materialists are detached from Krishna, but they're attached towards Maya. Agreed? Jagannath Gopal Prabhu?
Materialists are detached towards Krishna, attached to Maya. Yes.
Yes. Now let's look at Sahajyas. Sahajyas are attached to Krishna and attached to Maya. Then let's look at Mayavadis or impersonalists. They're detached towards Krishna and detached towards Maya also. It's because for them, everything, Brahma, Satya, Jagan, Mithya, everything is, you must be detached. Okay. So externally, the impersonalists or Mayavadis, you can say, are the most renounced, but it takes them nowhere actually, because they're detached from Krishna also. And Bhaktas, they're attached to Krishna and detached from Maya. So if you can somehow visualize this, you'll clearly see that the Bhaktas are really attached to Krishna, and because they're attached to Krishna, they're able to detach from Maya. So I hope this answers Megha Mataji. I don't know if it is too complicated.
Yeah, can everyone see my screen? I've made these.
Yes, thank you for making that. Yeah.
To Maya.
They're attached to Maya and detached from Krishna.
But Sahajyas are also attached to Krishna.
Yes, Sahajyas are attached to Krishna and attached to Maya.
So that doesn't necessarily make one detached from Maya, but maybe Sahajyas are just pretenders to be attached.
Their attachment to Krishna is not genuine. Yeah, they're attached to Krishna.
So maybe attachment to Krishna is not there. Maybe.
Well, they pretend to be attached to Krishna. Yeah.
Actually, it's very. When we think of Sahajiyas, we think of very emotional people and things like that. But actually, Sahajiyism is very, very, I guess they use rigorous Shastric logic to defend their Sahajaism. Actually, we maybe in our lifetime we won't come across such Sahajiyas at all. But there are Sahajiyas who are very rigorous in their analysis of why they are like that. So in that sense, maybe we can say that they are attached to Krishna in a wrong way, but yeah.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for to Nitya also for bringing that up. So one more thing I want to mention is that, see, this is again, love in separation. Love in separation, we always talk about love in separation, right? So for materialists, Krishna has no value without the world. So for example, Duryodhan. So for Duryodhan, Krishna had no value without the world. But for devotees, the world has no value without Krishna. This is from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu actually, and I keep thinking about this. An example is Arjuna.
Can you just repeat it once?
Yeah, for materialists, Krishna has no value without the world. For devotees, the world has no value without Krishna. So that is the highest level of renunciation. And from multiple perspectives, multiple angles, we can see this. For materialists, Krishna has no value without the world. For devotees, the world has no value without Krishna.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry for giving this elaborate answer about renunciation, but it's a topic that is very close to my heart. So I keep thinking about it. So
It's a very important topic, actually.
yeah, Megha Mataji, please go ahead. You don't have to raise your hand. You can just keep arguing. Yeah.
So Prabhu, you said, so out of these four, two are renounced. Who? One Bhakta then?
See, Bhakta is renounced and the Mayavadis are also renounced. But the Bhaktas are renounced because they're attached to Krishna.
Okay.
And the Mayavadis are renounced, but it just increases that, because see, renunciation also, as we mentioned last week, renunciation is in the mode of goodness. But if you're focused just on renunciation and that becomes your thing, then you get stuck in it and pride comes. So renunciation easily brings about pride, if that is your goal. But if your goal is Krishna, then pride doesn't come, humility comes. And renunciation automatically comes as a side effect. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for presenting so systematically.
And thank you, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu.
Actually, can you repeat the three? So actually, I want to note down. So Mataji said that as long as the attachment leads to Krishna is good. Leads to Krishna. It's okay. And then you mentioned that yeah, renunciation comes as a byproduct. Bhakti. You mentioned 3 points. Renunciation comes as a byproduct of bhakti. The second one was
Renunciation is internal.
yeah, renunciation is true. Renunciation is
This discussion came up when we were discussing the Chitraketu pastime also, right?
Yes, yes.
I remember,
yes.
I remember even like Kameshwar Prabhu also shared some stories about his brother, I think, and then you gave the example, like you gave some grahastha examples of how they're attached and like how they're attached to this world, but they're detached internally. Yeah, but I couldn't think of the word internally. I remember like it was something. I didn't remember what it was. Yeah, thank you for that.
See, also, this internal renunciation can be easily misinterpreted and it can be faked also. So only the super soul Krishna can know how much renounced a person is. Otherwise, you can easily pretend, and you can enter this realm of Sahajism. See, that's the thing. We have to guard against all these things. We have to guard against being a materialist. We have to guard against being a Mayavadi. We have to guard against being a Sahaja. So the only way to do all this easily is to hold on to the lotus feet of a pure devotee. or get the association of a devotee, then you don't have to get into all these technicalities. You just surrender to that person and give your life to that pure devotee. And then automatically you'll start seeing so many wonderful things. And all these things happen as byproducts, actually. Renunciation and humility automatically comes. You will not go into false association. All these things happen as side effects. So that is the easiest way to understand this. Otherwise, if you get too analytical, then you can get caught up in the analysis itself. So even though I presented an analytical thing, I don't recommend you all to do this. Just the simplest thing is to hold on to one devotee, and then that's it. Your life will be successful. Hare Krishna.
Analytics is also okay. If
Yeah.
one's inclination is to be analytical, then bhakti has a plethora of things where one can dovetail their analytical proclivities. So that is the beauty of bhakti again. So you were mentioning something about separation, Prabhuji, love in separation.
Yes, Prabhu. What was that?
Actually, this pretending, you said, right, whether this internal renunciation is actually something that only Krishna knows.
Yes.
So, a related point that Mahārāja made in his Vyas Puja address, in the very beginning, the point that he made, I somehow found it so powerful. So he said that when Prabhupada was here, everybody had a kind of purpose that everybody would work together in a united way to do some project and to, kind of with the hope that Prabhupada will come, Prabhupada will see this, Prabhupada will be pleased. And because Prabhupada will be pleased, Krishna will be pleased and our life will be successful. But then Maharaj mentioned that after Prabhupada left the world, they had to find that devotion to Prabhupada within their hearts. And then he said something really powerful. He said, then there was no scope for pretending. He said something like that. He said, then whatever it is, whatever genuinely we were, that we had to be that. Because he said, when there is physical proximity, we can be something we are not. But when that physical proximity is not there, then what is really inside of us comes out. So he said that is very, and that is when the actual test happens. That is when our sincerity is kind of tested. So yeah, sorry, I took a tangent here, but since you mentioned love in separation, right?
So I remembered the love and separation point I made was because of that point only. For materialists, Krishna has no value without the world. And for devotees, the world has no value without Krishna. So that is love and separation. Anyway, so.
And there are some comments. What this implies is that bhaktas are attached to Krishna only. Yes, that is true. Bhaktas are attached to Krishna only. Yeah. I mean, do you mean pure bhaktas, Prabhu?
I think he mentioned when we were comparing bhaktas and sahajiyas.
Okay.
So at that point, he was saying, how do we know is when we attach to Krishna only. I guess that's my, like, we can analyze ourselves. And I mean, analysis is great, actually. I mean, we all do at some, whether in a small way or a big way, we have to do analysis of our mind. Otherwise, the introspection does not come. Otherwise, going inwards cannot come. Otherwise, these words become just words. Right. I guess we only know whether we are pretending if we have any inclination towards any sense enjoyment or attached to Maya, then we know that there is still a lot of work to be done. I guess because if it's a natural byproduct, then I guess yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, so this is one theme that came about renunciation, and there are some more nice purports where Prabhupada writes, especially where Vāmanadeva starts replying to Bali Mahārāja. He says some really nice things. Yeah, oh my dear king, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the three worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. So here this famous verse is quoted, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yad indriya pritaya apranoti na sadhu manye yatatma noyam asanna api kleshada asadeha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. So there is one more Vairagya. Yes, so this is kind of one purport where Prabhupada kind of puts everything together and he brings out Krishna consciousness in a very nice way. So he says that the Mayavadis say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The spirit soul is truth and the energy, external energy is untruth. The Vaishnava philosophers, however, do not agree with the Mayavad philosophy. So this is important. Even if for the sake of argument, the material world is accepted as untruth, the living entity entangled in the illusory energy cannot come out of it without the help of the body. Without the help of the body, one cannot follow a system of religion, nor can one speculate on philosophical perfection. Therefore, the flower and the fruit, pushpa phalam, have to be obtained as a result of the body. Without the help of the body, that fruit cannot be gained. The Vaishnava philosophy therefore recommends Yukta Vairagya. It is not that all attention should be diverted for the maintenance of the body, but at the same time, one's bodily maintenance should not be neglected. As long as the body exists, one can thoroughly study the Vedic instructions, and thus at the end of life, one can achieve perfection. This is explained in the Gita, Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tyajatyante Ante Kalevaram. Everything is examined at the time of death. Therefore, although the body is temporary, not eternal, one can take from it the best service and make one's life perfect. So this is a little technical point that is in this verse that is mentioned. Prabhupada mentions in that connection, but that is the reconciliation that we can do. The Mayavadis, they are detached from Krishna as well as Maya. They are detached from the body as well as this thing. But Prabhupada says here that no, the body is not all in all miserable, because the body does give us the facility to perfect this human form of life. So anyway, that is one point. And then is anyone in the mood to hear something scary? I think everybody is ready for some spook here and there. So let's read something scary. Okay, so here the verse is spoken by Shukracharya, where he's saying this person falsely appearing as a brahmachari is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who has come in this form to take away all your land, wealth, beauty, power, fame, and education. After taking everything from you, he will deliver it to Indra, your enemy. So here the famous verse is quoted, but I don't know, somehow after reading this, I became a little scared. But anyway, here Prabhupada writes in the purport, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in this regard that the very word Hari means one who takes away. If one connects himself with Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord takes away all his miseries. And in the beginning, the Lord also superficially appears to take away all his material possessions, reputation, education, and beauty. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:88:8, Yasyaham anugrihinami harishe tad dhanam shanai. The Lord said to Mahārāja Yudhishthira, the first installment of my mercy toward a devotee is that I take away all his possessions, especially his material opulence, his money. This is a special favor of the Lord toward a sincere devotee. If a sincere devotee wants Krishna above everything, but at the same time is attached to material possessions, which hinder his advancement in Krishna consciousness, by tactics, the Lord takes away all his possessions. So this was really scary for me. Does this scare anybody else also?
It was scary until I read this but at the same time.
Which one?
So the sincere devotee wants Krishna, but
Ah.
at the same time attached to material possessions. So we can have material possessions, but if we are attached to it, then Krishna will take it away.
Nice.
So kind of so have it, but not be attached.
Ah. Yeah. That's a brilliant way of looking at it, Mataji. Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, we cannot cheat Krishna. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Vallabhadra Prabhu is saying, I hate my car. Good one, good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I also hate my phone, my iPad, my laptop.
Yeah, any other thoughts on this actually? And there is one more purport where Prabhupada says this, and yeah. Oh, this is the devotee must. This is one more scary thing that Prabhupada says. Yeah.
I think
Shubhra-
Megha Mataji has a question.
Oh
on the-
yes, Megha Mataji. Sorry, I didn't see your hand raised. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say what Nitya Mataji saying makes sense based on what I have observed. Like, you see, like such rich devotees who are like generously donating. So, I mean, I don't think, I don't know, maybe I have not seen enough, but what I have seen, like, it's not like they are getting poor or anything, but they sure seem more attached to Krishna. So, what Nitya Mataji said makes sense.
Yes,
based
yes.
on
No.
my observation.
Yeah, no, definitely. On a serious note, yes, that is what it is. And if you see like all you see so many rich devotees today, even Arjuna for that matter, Yudhishthir, they were kings. They had all those kingly facilities. But they were attached to Krishna. Yes. So, but yes, the stark distinction is this, attachment to material possessions. So having material possessions is not the issue. Being attached to them is the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, then we need not be worried.
Sorry?
We need not be worried.
Yeah, we need not worry. But I mean, I know I am attached. So that is the that is why, I mean, yeah, maybe see, the thing is, again, Krishna will probably not put me through such harsh tests, because I'm not at that level where I can pass those. But yeah, yes, in that sense, we need not worry. See, the I guess the difference between a person like me who is attached, okay, to material possessions, and a person like, say, Prabhupada, okay, in his youth, right, or rather in his midlife, when he had a very thriving business and everything. Of course, in one sense, you cannot compare me and Prabhupada, but just to give the stark difference, I am telling this. So, for me, if my material possessions are taken away, then I will actually try my best, frantically try my best to get them back, or, somehow bring my material situation back to what it was, right? Now, in contrast, pure devotees like Prabhupada, right? Prabhupada also says that his business was all, it was destroyed, it was stolen, his own people betrayed him, and everything was taken away, right? And then Prabhupada actually quotes this verse, Yasyam anugrihena me harishe taddanam shane. So the difference is, when such very exalted souls, when their material possessions are taken away, they directly turn to Krishna. That's all. So that is the stark difference. between a person who is attached to material possessions and a person who is, wants Krishna above everything, but at the same time is attached to material possessions. So that is a stark difference. When something is taken away, what is the response? The response of the pure devotee is that he or she will immediately turn to Krishna and just say, you are, I'm yours now. You do whatever you want with me. Nachao, say mate. Just make me dance, oh Krishna, is what that devotee will say. So yeah, very nice point. Yeah. We don't have to worry.
Yeah, this Chaurashtakam we sang almost is all that lines only, right?
Yes.
The one who steals away the miseries, the sins, but then first before that, it says in that order, takes away the material possession. What does it say? I think richness, beauty.
Yeah.
I forgot the actual verse now, but yeah, it says so much. Yeah. Like homeless beggar.
Five, verse number 5.
Yeah, wealth, honor, senses, life, everything. Where can you run into? I have caught you.
Yeah.
Of course, at this level, this is the highest level of ecstasy, spirituality that is singing, but
Actually, there is a lot of truth in that 5th verse, because at the time of death, all of these things will be taken away, actually. Your wealth will be taken away, your honor will be taken away, your senses will be taken away, and you're very close to your life also being taken away, and everything being taken away. And at that point, where will you run to? That is why this terminal restlessness is a common feature, because the materialists are bewildered at that point, because they have no idea where to run to at that point, because everything is just ripped apart right in front of them at that time. But for devotees, at that time is your ultimate test. That's why they say life is a preparation and death is an examination, because if throughout your life you haven't cultivated that kind of attachment to Krishna, then when everything is getting ripped apart at the end of your life, your wealth, your honor, your senses, everything, then you will not be able, it's not going to be easy actually to think of Krishna. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. So it might seem very far away. Oh, this is only, but very soon, in a few years, we will also come to that point. So that test will come. That test will come.
There was this, there is this green book of shlokas.
Yes.
He quoted shlokas. So in that, there is one shloka that Prabhupada has often quoted, actually. In that shloka is very strong. It says, whatever sadhana you have performed in your life will be tested at the time of death.
Yes.
Simple sentence, but oh my God, it's so strong.
Yeah. I'll give one more analogy towards the end, but please continue, Prabhu. I don't want to take too much time.
No, please go ahead. I'm just looking into what I noted down, so you can continue and yeah.
See, the analogy that I want to give is, let's say there is a baby elephant, okay, and a baby elephant is shackled and tied to a tree or a pole or whatever. At that point, there are two things that happen in the baby elephant. Internally, the baby elephant realizes its actual strength, because then until that point, the baby elephant does not even realize its strength. And externally, it expresses that by pulling on that rope or whatever. So both are happening parallelly towards that baby elephant. Now, in this analogy, the baby elephant is love, and that love is actually realized and expressed in the presence of opposition. So that is why we say that if everything is rosy in this world, then you will never realize that love and express that love for Krishna in this life. So if there is opposition, like in the case of this baby elephant, there's opposition in terms of it getting shackled, and only then the baby elephant realized its internal strength, and it was able to express it externally also by pulling. So that's why whenever there's opposition or whenever there is obstruction, we shouldn't think that it's actually an opposition towards Krishna. It's an obstacle towards Krishna. In that obstacle, in that obstruction, we can realize and experience more love for Krishna than without that obstacle. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's a powerful analogy. Yeah. I'm just trying to absorb that. So thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for that. Yeah, not only realize it, but even externally manifest it.
So some people may say, I'm just going to internally become renounced, or internally I'm going to realize, or internally I'm going to analyze. But whatever, if that internal, you're realizing it, then externally the expression has to be there. If the external expression is not there, that means there's something wrong internally that you're doing. That's a clear-cut sign. So a devotee is internally cultivating that love for Krishna and externally doing seva for Krishna. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So somebody is just internally thinking that, oh, I'm cultivating, I'm going deeper, I'm going deeper. But externally they're not doing anything. That means there is something wrong somewhere. So I always think of this analogy when it comes to that point.
Got it. Yep. Yeah. Thank you so much. This is really eye-opening and just reinforces.
Unless one is like Pundarik Vidyanidhi.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Pundarik Vidyanidhi was extremely renounced internally. And he
That's what I'm saying. Unless he's like that, then we can externally show off that we are not attached, but internally we can be
Yes. And
he was doing that so that he doesn't fall into ecstasy.
But he also expressed it. When Mukunda sang.
Yes.
So
that's when the world came to know.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. It has to come out, it has to come out. It cannot just be internal. It has to come out. Anybody, you take anybody, Radhanath Maharaj, any exalted soul that you can think of, they have internal depth, but they're expressing it through some form of seva.
So, in case of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, at least I only know that part of the story where he's very opulent, he's eating pan and people are fanning him. And then Vasudev that sings that verse and then he starts dancing in ecstasy. That's all I know about him. But do any of you know about his, any more description about his life? Like what he used to do in his life? What was his profession? What did he worship? Did he worship any deities? I'm pretty sure he would have had.
Mahārāja gave a class on it, on Pundarik Vidyanidhi's. I believe he had a deity. How can I forget it? I mean, he was mentioning about half an hour, 40 minutes about Pundarik Vidyanidhi in that class. Quite recent only. It was an appearance day of, like, so many appearance day came in October on one day. Pundarik Vidyanidhi, his appearance was also on that day. That day he gave a class. I'll try to find it from
Okay.
that class had it.
Yeah, even in one of the CC readings, we read that I forget that devotee's name.
Mukund Datta, right? Mukund.
No. So that devotee who was actually very wealthy, and he would bring this. He would import this very amazing quality of coconuts from somewhere and pay hefty sums of money for it, and he would bring that and offer it to the Lord in the temple. Do you remember Gaur Kumar Prabhu? I remember reading about this too. When Mahaprabhu is glorifying, many devotees one after the other, he talks about this devotee.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I'm remembering. But there's no there's no mention of the name, right?
there is.
Yes. Oh, yeah, okay.
CC Madhya performance of Vrindavan pastimes. No, this is not it. So in that same series, Mahaprabhu even glorifies.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he glorifies one by one.
Yeah, I think here it is. We'll find it here. I induced Murari Gupta. I requested Murari Gupta hefty money. Coconut. This one. Then informed everyone. Mahaprabhu then informed, just hear about the pure devotional service rendered to Krishna by Raghava Pandit. Indeed, Raghava Pandit's service is supremely pure and highly accomplished. Apart from other commodities, just hear about his offering of coconuts. A coconut is sold at the rate of 5 gandas each. Although he has already hundreds of trees and millions of fruits, he is still very eager to hear about the place where coconuts are available. Sweet coconuts are available. He collects coconuts with great endeavor from a place 20 miles away, and he pays 4 panas each for them. Each day, 5 to 7 coconuts are clipped and put into water to keep. So basically, yeah, this whole description is there. And imagine Mahaprabhu is describing just about the offering of his coconuts of that Raghav Pandit is doing. It is so amazing. So anyway, yeah. So it's already 10, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your wonderful participation in this. It's truly a rewarding discussion, and so many points came up. And so there is a recording of this, of course, from this time on, so which is amazing. We'll meet next Tuesday, and we'll discuss the next chapter, which is Bali Maharaj surrendering the universe.
So I think next Tuesday may be the last Tuesday that we'll. Oh no, maybe. Let me see. Sorry. Yeah, next Tuesday may be the last Tuesday for this year, Prabhu. Because we won't be meeting on the 26th, because many of us are traveling, and you're also traveling, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu. So, and then after that, we'll meet on January 2nd, which is, the new year. January 2nd also, Nitya and me won't be available because we're going to Mayapur. We'll be in Mayapur at that time, Krishna willing. So, we'll see how things work out.
Sure.
Okay, but thank you, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu. It's not easy to prepare week after week.
Yeah, really relentless effort. Thank you so much, Prabhu. And bringing such amazing discussion points. Those I really love it.
It's really the participation of devotees. For me personally, not the only, but one of the joys. Just one second. So for me, one of the important joys through this is that I get to read the Bhagavatam